Hello, everyone. Welcome to the information session for the Entrepreneur Reset, a one-day experience happening in Las Vegas on Sunday, November 16th. I am Shawnta Jackson, joined with my colleague, Walter Williams.
Good afternoon.
And so for today's discussion, for this quick information session, we'll simply go over what it means to reset, why now, why before 2026. We'll give a brief event overview. We'll talk about who should attend. We'll talk about the day at a glance, the agenda for the actual Entrepreneur Reset. We'll provide ticketing options, and then we'll provide information for you all to send any questions to us. Okay, so for everyone that's watching, sit back, reflect, think about it, be honest with yourselves. On a scale from 1 to 9, how does your business or entrepreneurial journey look today? How is it going today? And we have 1 through 9. Walter, I'm going to say that I'm in between a 1 and a 2
Okay.
today.
Today, I'll say I'm in between a 2 and a 3 today. Yeah, that's what I know. Not
Thank
too
you.
bad.
Yeah, I appreciate that honesty and you showing up. And yeah, so again, everyone, just it's okay. That's why I said today, right? So it can fluctuate. Sometimes we have those seasons where things are going really well, and then sometimes we may feel like we're at a number 9 and we have to play our gospel music, right? And
Amen.
remind ourselves to never give up. All right. So thank you for that. Everyone, I am Shawnta Jackson, and my purpose or my personal mission is to help people to help themselves and others. I have 16 years of experience as a strategist, evaluator, and facilitator working with organizations and teams across the United States. I have a master's in public health degree from the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, UNLV Running Rebels, and a bachelor's in public relations from Columbia College Chicago. And I am the founder and chief executive associate of Cause Engagement Associates based in Maryland. And we have been in business for 10 consecutive years. We are actually celebrating our 10-year anniversary here in 2025. And we have had the privilege, the opportunity to serve over 25 business to business clients and projects across the United States. And so everyone, I am Shawnta Jackson, and I am one of your facilitators for the Entrepreneur Reset.
For sure. Thank you, Miss Jackson, and congratulations on 10 years. That's outstanding. That's outstanding. I'm Walter Williams. I'm the other co-host, co-facilitator for the Entrepreneur Reset. Come join us November 16th. It's going to be amazing. You want to walk away feeling realigned, refreshed, relaxed, and empowered. I am a licensed professional counselor by trade. Got both of my degrees from University of Wisconsin-Madison in rehab psychology. My purpose is to help people to reshape and restructure how they may think or perceive a situation or themselves, to bring awareness to how it impacts the body and uplift the spirit. Been running my private practice for 6 years now, going on 6 years. Last year alone, I was putting in some work. I was putting in some good work. Wow, just looking at this number is like I did all of that time, but that just shows how I value the work that I do and why I enjoy holding space for those who trust me with some of the things that they're going through, whatever it may be. So that's just really great to see. So 630 client sessions last year. I can't wait to share what that's going to be this year because it's so much more. And over my time, I've facilitated with 50 workshops in many different capacities, many different arenas. I mean, this is one I'm excited to add to my repertoire. So I'm really excited for folks to come hang out with us November 16th and make a weekend of it and all that good stuff. So what does it mean to reset? When we think about resetting, when Ms. Jackson and I we're really reflecting on our journey and how we've come to be at this point in time in our business and in our personal lives. We find ourselves just challenging each other to think more deeply, think more critically, and it challenged us to do a pause to say, okay, what is it that we learned and discovered in this space? And then we found some momentum, the energy was right. We like, yo, let's make this accessible to all who can join us and be a part of it. So when we say intentional pause is really just taking a moment to reassess, to realign, and to have some attention on the things that matter the most. really stepping away from your day to day allows you to disconnect and detach from the things that distract us, right? Whether it's, emails all day, phone calls all day. Maybe if you work from home, maybe it's the couch they call you, whatever it may be. Sometimes it's getting away from our norm and having to pause outside of where we typically operate allows us to be more intentional. And in that attention comes direct focus, where we can really lock in on what matters the most. And to get where we're trying to go, we need some time to step away. So when we think of intentional pause, that indeed is what it would be for us to slow things down, hear ourselves, listen to each other, sharpen one another. And from there, we start to find some realignment. Are we still tracking towards the direction of the vision we set out for ourselves? Knowing that, 6 years ago, my vision was one thing and now it's a bit different because I've grown, business grown, the world has grown and changed. So how do I make sure I'm still in alignment with where I'm going and ensure the decisions I make is in alignment with the mission and vision that I have? So sometimes in small business, we can get into paper chase, whoever's not going to do with some money. But when we really think about entrepreneurship and operating from a spirit of purpose and service, we want to ensure that one, that all money ain't good money, but two, whatever we do bring in aligns with the mission and vision we have, so that we can know we operate in our purpose. And we'll get in our values, but we'll talk more about that in at the entrepreneur reset, and then just a renewed action. So a recommitment to thyself. If you're a small business owner, if you're aspiring business owner, if you're just someone who's just trying to get your life together, it's all about just how do you reset and realign and renew and transform your way of thinking, or refresh your way of thinking, if you will, on how you're thinking, so that you can see how your behavior is aligning with that. And that's the piece that I'm really excited to introduce into the space from my clinical lens of how to get that mind body spirit alignment in place there. So that's what it means to reset. And I guarantee you would definitely, definitely, definitely walk away feeling reset, refreshed, and refocused as we prepare for 2026. This is why, right? And I can go on and on about why, but the Capital One Business Survey shows us that 48% of us in small businesses, we experiencing burnout, and it's real. The COVID money that one was receiving and experiencing from grants, those are dried up, right? Those ships have sailed. So how do we tap into other resources and make sure our things are in order so we can be available for other capital and investments? There's a planning gap that's there, that Truist Financial Survey shares that 65% have a planning gap. I think sometimes we think of business in theory, but not in action and in behavior. And it's like, I want to do this, and here's where I am, but get lost in the middle. And in this entrepreneur reset, we're going to spend time in the middle. We're going to spend time in the middle, looking at the foundation together. We'll spend time in the middle, so that when you leave, you got some things that you can actionably do and say that I've done, and we have some accountability for you to support you along the way. And then 99.9% of all U.S. business are small businesses. So that means a lot of us should be able to sign up to be here if this is a space you want to tap into. So this is the part of the reason why we want to do this before we go into the new year, so that we can make sure that we're operating well, as many of us may be a part of these statistics.
Definitely. And then also just taking into account the environment that we're in our business environment, our economy, just in general, whether it's domestically or globally, and just making sure that we're ready, and that we have that fuel, and we have that community, we have that group, so that we can move forward and we can grow together in 2026 and ignore the noise, when need be. Okay, everyone. So again, Sunday, November 16, 2025, in Las Vegas at the Courtyard by Marriott, near the Las Vegas Stadium area. So by the Allegiant Stadium. And we start at 9 a.m. and we end at 4:30 p.m. So we have a full day ahead of us on Sunday, November 16, 2025. And of course, you can always learn more at entrepreneurreset.net. And who should attend? So we have entrepreneurs, small business owners, we have nonprofit founders and consultants, consultants. Also those dreamers, those aspiring entrepreneurs. That's who would be attending the Entrepreneur Reset. And why attend, and what is it that you'll gain. So by the end of this day, you will walk away with a more clarity of your values. We actually have a values clarification activity that we'll do together. you'll walk away with more confidence and resilience in not only yourself as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, but just as an individual, uh, as a husband, as a wife, as a partner, as a spouse, as a parent, as a member of society, just in general, because we're focusing on not just business, but those other areas of our lives as well. You'll have a fresh perspective. And of course, you'll have that strategic direction. For those of you who are staying for the full day, you actually walk away with a tangible business growth plan for 2026. We sit down together as a team. We have some individual activities. We have workbooks. We have exercises. We're looking at our strengths and where we have achieved and our successes, but we're also looking at weaknesses, any opportunities for growth, any gaps. We're assessing and we're working with you, Walter and I, during that day. So you walk away again with strategic direction. And then, of course, you have accountability and support. You have that in Walter and I. For those of you who are staying for the full day, you will have you'll be able to participate in those monthly group calls, those group accountability calls. There is an additional option, and which I'll talk about more for that one-on-one support if you shall need that. But then we also it doesn't end on November 16th. In addition to those monthly accountability calls, we have a 6-month in-person meetup that we'll do. And then at the end of the year, we'll do it all over again. We'll have another retreat. Okay. And so the day at a glance, your day at a glance. So what can you expect? So we have a morning session and then we have a full day session or a full day opportunity. First thing in the morning, we have breakfast and we check in, a light breakfast. We're setting our intention for the day. We're introducing ourselves, and then we begin our morning session. So the morning session is more so about reflection. As I mentioned, we have that values clarification activity. And we also have a wellness assessment that explores the 8 dimensions of wellness and their impact on our business, and also how our business shows up in those other areas in our lives. So the 8 dimensions of wellness is this framework that says, hey, we have, in addition to our business or occupational wellness, we have emotional wellness, we have spiritual wellness, we have financial wellness, we have environment, we have relationships, we have all these different areas in our lives that we may be doing really great in one area and not so well in another. So we actually have those personal self-assessments, and we'll be doing some goal setting. And so that'll be a part of our monthly accountability as well. It's not just about our business, it's also about those other areas of our lives as well. And so we'll focus on that in the morning session. And for those of you who just, so we'll focus on that during the morning session. And before we break to continue with the full day, we'll have a networking break where everyone is welcome, all attendees, morning and full day attendees, and we'll have an opportunity to connect with fellow entrepreneurs. We'll share insights and we'll build our community together. And then for those of you who are staying for the full day, we'll have a hosted lunch together. So we'll have a nourishing meal together with meaningful conversations, and then we'll move into our afternoon session. And our afternoon session is when we get down to business. That's when we focus on our business planning and our growth roadmap for 2026, and we do that together. And we have personal, actionable steps. So we're focusing. Of course, we have visions for our We have visions for our business and for ourselves. However, we're focusing on 2026 because we want to make it tangible. We want to make it realistic for us. We want it to be something that we can achieve together and we can really see those results. So you have your personal actionable steps and what can you realistically achieve within the next 30, 60, 90 days, right? What are your quarterly, we know what you want to achieve by the end of 2026, but how do we get there? How does that look monthly? How does that look quarterly, right? And some of that is decided along the way, and you're flexible and things change. Again, that's why we have that community and that's why we have that accountability aspect. Okay. And so, Walter, I'll actually hand this over to you so you can
Sure.
talk about what makes this different.
Yeah, we're in a time where there's many folks who are aspiring to be business owners, entrepreneurs, coaches, consultants, authors, speakers, etc. But again, as I mentioned earlier, sometimes it sounds good in theory, but what does that look like in practice? And that's what we're hoping to support folks on as they join us, as y'all join us November 16th. Personal growth, right? That's that first piece, the first half of the day that Shanta mentioned there. So just doing the mindset work. The I call it just sweeping away the debris. I believe that we all are born with everything within us. It's just a matter of unveiling it and quieting the noise, minimizing the distractions, challenging how we may perceive things to have that aha moment. So we'll do some intentional work around the personal piece of it, and then start to challenge folks to think about how wellness integration can show up in your personal life and in your business life, because you are your business, right? Until you shift to the who is that talked about the four quadrants. But as you shift to a different quadrant, then you become the business owner and all of that good stuff. But either way, that wellness integration is important. You as the business and you as a business owner. So how do we make sure our values and the eight dimensions of wellness apply to our business life? And from there, having some business strategy where you have some practical tools and frameworks to help you support you, things that you can hear from people with real experiences, and where we can sharpen one another. But not more importantly, but I would say the icing on the cake is that community building. To go far, you got to go together, and we have to sharpen ourselves against those who are doing good stuff. I think sometimes as business owners, one, leadership is lonely. Two, we're afraid that if I share my idea, someone may steal it, but no one can execute or implement the ideas you have like you do, right? But to be in community with someone that you can share your vision with and have them add to it, right? Bring it to life or help you think critically do it becomes so important, because over time, our motivation can start to lack, but it's the discipline we want to make sure we enhancing and maintaining, and that's where that accountability piece come in at. So that's what makes this different for this event for sure.
Yes, definitely. And as it relates to the business strategy and so with community, you were talking about those four quadrants, right? And so some of us may be in those different quadrants. We may have someone who is employed and
Mhm.
they're aspiring to become a full-time entrepreneur. They're thinking about it. That they want to leave their full-time job, so they're in that quadrant. So we're talking Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kawasaki, correct?
Yep, that's him.
Okay, and so we have the employee, and then you have the sole proprietor or the
Mhm.
self-employed individual. You have the I believe it's an operator, business operator, and that's you being an owner only. Um, I'm sorry, you have the solo entrepreneur, um,
Mhm.
and I know the other one is investments. You're an
Yep.
investor or a business owner. I believe that's what they are. I'm kind of getting them a little confused with Tony Robbins when he talks about transitioning from being a business operator to a business owner.
I see.
Yeah, so I'm kind of getting them a little bit confused. Yeah, and some people's your goal may be to scale, and some people may say, you know what, I don't want to scale. I'm fine where I'm at.
Hmm.
Or some people may say, I want to sell. That is my goal. My goal is to sell my business by the end of the year. And so, what needs to be achieved now for you to be able to achieve, to reach that goal of selling your business, whatever it may be? We're all at different spaces. But again, I think that's important while we have that community building as well. So thank you, Walter, for those points. So again, everyone, join us to reset. You can register at entrepreneurreset.net. We have 3 ticketing options. So as I mentioned, we have a morning only session, and that's where you have your light breakfast. That's included. You have a wellness workbook, and that the ticketing price for that starts at 125 plus fees. And then we have a full day general admission, which you have the entire day plus breakfast and lunch. You have a complete workbook. Again, you have that business growth plan that we talked about, that tangible plan, and then you have those monthly accountability group calls as well. And then for the full day, you get this. It's everything that's included in the general day. Um, and the general full day ticket. Plus, we have a pre-planning assessment and consultation prior to Sunday, November 16th. And in addition to the monthly group accountability calls, you'll have 3 private coaching sessions and priority support from Walter and I. All right. And so again, we have those 3 options, and we actually have a discount code. So don't sign off yet, just yet. Entrepreneurreset.net, and that special discount code for 20% off. You can use we have 2 codes. We have Walter Guest 20 or Shawnta Guest 20, and that's 20% off of those ticketing prices. And those are currently available for a limited time only. So we encourage you all to go ahead and register at entrepreneurreset.net. Then, of course, if you have any questions, you can contact Walter and I. My email is shawnta@shawntajackson.com. That's SHAWNTA for those not uh, able to view the screen. So Shawnta@shawntajackson.com. And then we have Walter at thinkandgrowllc.com. That's Walter at thinkandgrowllc.com. And then, of course, you can scan the QR code to visit our website, entrepreneurreset.net. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to contact us. And there's also a contact form at the bottom of the website as well. Everyone, thank you. Make it a great, great day.
Yes, yes. Thanks for hanging out with us.